And they're like, I've already read that. Is there another book you would recommend? And I said, yeah, there's a really, really good one that is right in what we do around mental wellness. It's called psychobiotics. The bacteria that I'm going to talk about for the first part of the afternoon session here, they're bacteria that help our bodies help with stress and depression and with anxiety, and those in the scientific community are referred to as psychobiotics. They're biotics, bacteria, that have a psychological effect or a psychiatry effect. And so there's a whole world of research around this. And so that book, just to give you a little background on the book, it's a really, really nice scientific book. Easy to read, blow your mind kind of stuff. But two of the scientists who were at the University of Cork in Ireland, they'll maybe someday be on our scientific advisory board, but they're not now because their work is very much funded by the pharmaceutical industry. So if you think about pharma, right, all the drugs that I put up there this morning, the Prozacs and the Zolofts and the Xanaxes and the list goes on and on and on, they don't work particularly well. The pharma industry is looking for something that works a lot better. And the bacteria are doing that, helping us feel better at a much deeper level than any of those drugs, right? The things we're doing work better than any of those things that are out there. And so if you're a pharma company, you're looking at that and saying, if there's some way that I could figure out what the microbiome is doing to make a compound, a bioactive chemical, that is helping us feel better, does anyone know how the pharmaceutical company is going to take that, right? If you figure that out, this bacteria makes this thing, what's a pharma company going to do? Yeah, they don't want that thing. That's a natural thing. They can't patent that. They can make a synthetic version of it. Typically what they'll do is they'll say, okay, that thing that makes somebody feel better looks like this. If we change this chemical bond, now it looks like that. That's a new thing. We can patent that, and we can sell that as a drug for the next 20 years, right? That's the approach that they'll take. So, you can look at it from our perspective of how can we make the body naturally do what it's supposed to do, give the right fibers, give the right bacteria, give the right phytonutrients, and have the body be its own internal on-demand pharmacy, or you take that other approach. So, yeah.
Who wrote Psychobiotics?
The guy who really wrote it is a very well-known health writer, and I can't. Scott Anderson. Yeah, Scott, brilliant writer. And the two professors that he wrote the book on behalf of are Ted Deanan and John Bryan, who are brilliant scientists. It's just they have more of a pharmaceutical perspective on this field than the natural perspective we would like to have. Okay. So what I'm going to talk about is our product line. We have 22 products, and I would love to talk for an hour about every single one of those products, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. We have that information online. We've got videos. We have short videos that you can share with people in 3 minutes to get the gist of what the products do. We've got deep dive videos that do go into an hour or an hour and a half about the science behind a particular product. You have access to all those kinds of things. I want to try to give you just kind of a 30,000-foot view on most of the products. I will spend a little bit of time on this one, which is our fundamentals pack. That's the one that Pat was kind of joking, saying like, oh, if somebody has these issues, fundamentals box. If somebody has these other issues, fundamentals box. If somebody has these other issues, fundamentals box. And the reason we joke that way is because in that box, one pack is 3 products. One product for the gut, one product for the brain, one product for the axis in between. So it's a pack of products that does a lot in one sort of concentrated, easily delivered kind of thing. So a lot of people will come in and they'll try that. They come in and they go, I don't feel good. I'm too low on that mental wellness continuum. We say fundamentals, and they take it for a little while and they go, yeah, that was it. I feel a lot better. And the reason they feel a lot better is because it's working on the microbiome, and it's working one level up from that, which is the environment of your gut, your pH and your mucus lining and your inflammation and things like that in your gut. And then it works one level up from that, which is your actual gut lining, so you don't have leaky gut. And then it works one level up from that, which is in your axis, which is partly your immune system and partly your inflammation and partly et cetera, I'll get into that. And then it works a level up from that, which is your neurotransmitter balance, and it works a level up from that, which is what parts of your brain are being activated. So in that one box, you have a lot of boxes being ticked in terms of things that could potentially be off in your body. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how we put that product together. We launched it in 2018, and when we launched it, we won this award, if you can see that. It's called the Nutra Award. We won that in 2018. That's given once a year to one product that is, in the view of the entire natural products industry, it's the best new finished product of that year. So it's kind of like winning the best picture, you know, if you're in the movie biz. That award has never been given to a startup, and it's never been given to a network marketing company before. So when we were nominated for it, Rich Higby and I, who have been in this industry for our entire careers, we were like little kids. We were like, oh my gosh, we got nominated for the Nutra Award. And Hip was like, oh, is that a big deal? And we're like, that's like if we made a movie on our iPhone and we won the Academy Award. Like, that's what that would be like. And you know, we didn't think we were going to win it, right? Because never been given to a startup, never been to a network marketing company. And then when we went to the awards ceremony, we were like, we should at least go, you know, let's go. And they started announcing the winner. And as they're doing their little preamble, this next company is creating a whole new category that didn't exist before, and we were like, it's us. And they made a big deal about the fact that this isn't just a cool product with cool science in an emerging area. It's something that's going to be here for a long time. Rebecca said it when she got up here on stage. Like, it's not like a fad. It's not like the thing of the moment that you have to get in here for. This is going to grow for decades and decades to come in the natural products industry, where that concept of psychobiotics that I just explained, we are on the early cutting edge of that, and we're just going to be learning more and more how we can make these products work better and better and better and more effectively for more people. So the whole Nutra Award goes into the science and the ingredients and the category, but also the packaging, the education program. It really is the whole package. So we felt really good to win that. But then the next question is like, great, you know, industry accolades, and we have a lot of science behind the product, but people will sometimes say, well, how can it work as effectively as it does in so many different ways for so many different kinds of people that would look like they would need something completely differently, right? So kind of like what I was saying this morning, you could have 10 people that don't feel particularly good, and they don't feel particularly good in different ways, and yet something like fundamentals can help them all, right, to a certain perspective. And the reason is because we use very targeted types of ingredients to deliver a very targeted kind of benefit. So this is a snapshot from one of our clinical trials that we did. This has been presented at 7 different scientific conferences. It's been published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal. And the 2 big pieces of information that you want to understand about modulating the microbiome to help somebody feel better are kind of encapsulated on this one slide, which is on the left-hand side, that's the change in the microbiome that we see. So what you see is good bacteria are going up. We're seeing higher levels of lactobacillus, that's one category of good bacteria. We see higher levels of bifidobacterium, that's another category of good bacteria. They're good for different reasons, which is why we measure them separately. This composite score, we have an algorithm that we put all the microbiome data into, and it gives us sort of an average, a 17% change over a 30-day intervention is a huge change in a short period of time. And what that's telling us is that good guys are going up, awesome. Bad guys are going down, also awesome. But we're also looking at markers of gut inflammation. We're looking at markers of gut lining integrity. So because that number's going up, and because one in particular, this one here called acromantia, that's a signal to us that you have better gut integrity, so you have less leaky gut. We're able to show things, I'm not showing you on this slide, but we're able to measure not just the numbers of bacteria and the types of bacteria they're changing, we're able to measure the things that they're producing. What are these days now called postbiotics. So there's the biotic, which is the bacteria. The postbiotic is something that it produces. So we can measure things like inflammatory molecules or short-chain fatty acids like butyrates and things like that. And if we can see those go up, we know that we're having a beneficial metabolic effect in people, right? So there's a lot that goes into that. And that's all wonderful, right? But nobody on day 31 of that trial, when this trial was all over, nobody rolled out of bed and went, oh, my bifidobacterium feels really awesome this morning, right? You can't feel that. But what you feel is that bacteria is producing something that helps you feel better. And what it's producing are these kinds of things. It's leading you to have less tension and less depression and less anxiety and less irritability. And when I put that up, all of those mood states that we measure using something called profile of mood states, what you see is all those negative mood states are going down pretty significantly. And then a positive mood state, that very last one is vigor. That's my specialty area of research. Vigor is the opposite state of burnout. So if vigor goes up, burnout is going down. Imagine helping somebody with their burnout by a factor of 44%. Imagine being able to go to somebody and say, hey, would you like your fatigue to go down by 64%? Would you like your depression to go down by 55%? That isn't just going to help them feel better. That's going to change their day, right? That's going to change how they function in the world. It's going to change how they interact with other people. It's really, really meaningful. So people will ask sometimes, how can you get all of those kinds of mood state changes all at the same time in a group of people? Does anyone know why? Like how can we get confusion, brain fog to go down, and we can get fatigue to go down, and we can get anger or irritability to go down? How can we get all of that, which seem like they're different things, all at once? They're all caused by the same thing. They're all caused by your microbiome being out of balance. If your microbiome is out of balance, you're not producing enough of the compounds that help you feel good, and you're probably overproducing the compounds that help you feel bad, like inflammatory compounds, for example. Or sometimes you're producing compounds that will get in the way of the good compounds reaching the places in the brain that they need to, right? So there's a lot going on there, and that's I kind of glanced over it a little bit this morning when I said getting the right microbiome is like getting the right internal pharmacy that on demand starts making everything that you need. So let's say you have the right microbiome now, and it's making the right level of serotonin. Now your depression goes down. Now if you have the right microbiome making the right level of dopamine, your fatigue goes down. The right level of norepinephrine, your confusion goes down. The right level of GABA, your tension goes down. You guys get the idea. And you're able to make it in the moment as you need it, which is the really, really cool piece of it. If it weren't kind of on demand that way, then the danger would be we'd be lowering fatigue in somebody who already had enough energy, and then they would feel agitated. Or we would lower depression in somebody who already had a good mood, and then they would feel suppressed. Right? Does that make sense to you guys? That's what happens in a pharmaceutical model. When somebody is over-medicated, they feel even worse because they're being pushed in the wrong direction, away from that balance point. And it's all about balance. If there's one kind of theme that kind of permeates through all of the 22 products that we have, it's that idea of balance, or what we refer to as resilience, right? What you're trying to do, we're really careful to not try to get into disease language, right? Where we don't want to say to people, we're curing depression, we're curing anxiety, we're curing chronic fatigue syndrome, that kind of stuff. Rather, it's kind of a reframing where we say, look, if you're experiencing those kinds of symptoms and you're lower on that mental wellness continuum than you want to be, let's reframe it. It's not disease versus getting back into health. It's you're out of balance. Let's restore your balance. And once you restore your balance, that's when everything starts to work better. And that's when you feel better, and that's when your physical health gets better, and that's when you start to lose weight again, and that's where you start to get in the right steps that you need to do. So, are there any questions about that piece? Yeah.
I was just curious, age group of these people.
Oh, so yeah. So these were like middle age, but they were specifically recruited to be what we call in this area of research, healthy stress. So they were not people that had gut issues, right? They didn't have irritable bowel syndrome or something like that. They also did not have depression or anxiety. They were not medicated with any of those issues. So let me ask you 2 questions. Do you think it's hard to find people who are stressed? No, Diamond doesn't, right? It's everybody. The hard part was when we were recruiting, one of our exclusion criteria was you can't be taking an antidepressant. That was the hard part because so many people are on them. Anyone know why we didn't want people using Prozac and Zoloft and things like that? It doesn't cancel it out, but it does make it harder for us to measure the psychological because a lot of times the drug is suppressing any emotion, right? And so what you end up getting in your data is no change. They felt terrible before and they still feel terrible because it's like, it's that blanket that you're putting over everything. So healthy stress people, middle age, good split between men and women.
Did you control like food, sleep, anything like that?
So we didn't give them any intervention except the fundamentals regimen, but we said to them, stay on whatever you're doing. Don't start eating better. Don't start exercising. Don't start any of that kind of stuff. Just stay doing what you're doing just for 30 days. We did a follow-up on this, and I don't think I have I shared with people who were here for the earlier meetings some of the data from our Project B3 trial. So we have a kit of products that includes fundamentals at its core, and then we have some functional foods, some proteins and some greens and some fibers and some vitamins and things like that called Project B3. So we did that one for 6 weeks. So we found the same sort of mood state changes. I just completely lost my track of thought.
Oh, you did the second.
We did a second study, follow-up with Project B3. What was your question just a second ago?
Changing habits.
Control, like.
Oh, who are the people?
Yeah.
So yeah, control. Got it. I'm back. So in this one, we didn't have any diet intervention. In the Project B3 one, we gave them recommendations. We said, look, this is what a good movement program would look like. This is what a good eating program would look like. We didn't put them on a diet. We didn't put them on an exercise regimen. And we found pretty much the same thing, right? Bacteria changed, mood changed, body fats went down, but here we were measuring lots of other stuff. So inflammation went down, blood sugars went down, cholesterols went down. A lot of those bioactive molecules like the short-chain fatty acids went up. Like everything went in the right direction. And I was giving a lecture to a room like this full of dietitians. Are there any dietitians in here? Okay, so I'm going to pick on you for a second, right? I've trained a lot of dietitians. When I taught at the University of Utah, we had a dietetics program where we would train RDs, registered dietitians. And one of my pet peeves is that a lot of RDs have this mentality that you can get everything that your body needs from food. Would anyone disagree with that? Yeah, I disagree with that because one of the reasons is I study supplements, right? I'm still a food first kind of a guy. I want people to be eating a Mediterranean diet, and you should have seen the lovely salad that I had at lunch. But then, even if you're eating that sort of perfect diet, it's really hard to get the levels of nutrients that you need. So anyway, before I go too far down that rabbit hole, I was talking to a room full of dietitians, and I said, just to kind of poke them a little bit, I said, look, we got all these wonderful benefits, and all we gave was the supplements, right? We didn't give any diet, we didn't give any exercise recommendations, nothing, just the supplements, so look at all the magic that happened. And one of them could not contain herself. And she was like, I have to take issue with that. And I was like, well, why? And she's like, well, because if you get this kind of change, that person's fatigue level, now they have more energy. And now they're gonna be more physically active. They're gonna exercise anyway. You change somebody's fatigue level and depression level, they're gonna feel better, and they're gonna choose a better diet. Instead of eating hamburgers and French fries, they're gonna eat more salad and salmon. And she went on like that for a little while, and I was like, that's exactly what we think. That's exactly why they lost weight. That's exactly why their cholesterol's went down. And I've been telling people to do those things for my entire career, And it goes out there, and you can literally see it go boink right off their heads. And then you know it, they understand it. It's not an education thing, it's a motivation thing. But if we can change this in people, their whole motivation changes to do all that other stuff. And I'll do that every day of the week if I have to get someone to make those good lifestyle choices, right? So thanks for letting me pick on you. Yeah.
One quick question. In the video about Project 3 that you did about a year ago, you said that you are doing these studies on people and that you're going to release them, and I couldn't find them.
Yeah, so we got this question a lot. So 7 scientific studies, right now, 1 peer-reviewed paper. We have just in 2019, we got three publications on our heart-brain axis, peer-reviewed scientific publications. We got 4 peer-reviewed scientific presentations. Going into this year, we're going to have the same thing for our kids' mood product. We're going to have the same thing for Project B3. We're going to have the same thing for our mental heart product. And so people are like, well, where is this information? You talk about it in the videos. You show it on the slide every once in a while. So we're going to create a 2-sided PDF that lists out all the studies and all the scientific presentations that we have with links. And we'll post it online, so you can just click on the link and go to where that is. And on the back side of it is going to be all the patents that we have. Or patent applications that we have, because yesterday, or 2 days ago, I put up 6 new ones that we filed at the end of last year, and then somebody said, is that all the patents and patent applications we have? I'm like, no, we filed a whole bunch more the year before that, so we're going to do science on one side, intellectual property on the other side. Okay? Yes?
My understanding is that as far as the bacteria in your body goes, like the way I feel about it is like they're like your citizens that produce things.
Yeah.
And it's like a country, and you need to feed them. And when you feed them, you support and promote a certain type of citizen.
Yes.
You deter another type of citizen.
Yeah.
And
Here, can I have you speak? What are you saying? Really good.
He needs to become one of us, I think.
okay, so whatever you eat, it ends up feeding a certain kind of a bacteria, which end up producing products for you.
Yeah.
But then it's not just the products; it also has to get delivered, right?
Yeah.
So I know that you have to feed them, and then they're going to transmute that into something new.
Yes.
Now you got to give them the stuff that they need to produce what you want.
Yes.
So that's what you're figuring out. That's your study.
Yes. Yep.
And now I also know that today they got these things called these nootropics.
Yep.
Now I want to see where it all comes together for you. And also I know that there's certain type of bacteria that you cannot easily transport into people.
Yes.
Like I found out about oxalobacter, that it eats oxalate, which is like basically shards of glass, which you find in like black tea and chocolate and spinach. And people with like kidney problems and stuff, that can be really bad for them.
If you don't have the right kind of bacteria.
Right. But it's really hard to transport the oxalobacter from like a capsule.
Right. Okay, so that was almost like I planted him there. Because that's exactly what I'm going to talk about right now. So one example of that is, this acromantia that does so many lovely things in the body, for your metabolism, for your mood, for your inflammation, etc., etc. We can't give that to people, right? It doesn't survive in an oxygen environment, which is where we survive, where we live. It has to be anaerobic, which is what your gut is. So if I isolated acromantia, try to put it in a capsule, as soon as it's in the capsule, it's dead. It's not going to have its benefits. So the things that we're giving in fundamentals are growing acromantia. We see a 90% increase in that acromantia. Not because we're giving acromantia, because we're giving things that enable it to thrive, to nourish it, to set up the right environment so that it's surrounded by bacteria it likes versus the bacteria that are going to be detrimental to it, right? So there's all kinds of ways that we do that. So that was the how, right? How do we do all that, right? It's the things that we're giving. So when someone looks at antibiotics and they say, that's your gut product, that's your probiotic product, yeah, that's true. It has probiotics, but it also has prebiotics. How many people know what that is? So the probiotic is the bacteria. What's the prebiotic?
The food.
It's the food that the bacteria are going to use, and primarily it's fibers. It's different kinds of fibers. That's not to say that every fiber is a prebiotic. That's not true. A certain subset of fibers are prebiotics. That means that the fibers are going to be used by the bacteria to nourish themselves. That's their food. But it's also used as a substrate, as a building block to make the things, the bioactives that we want to have more of. Those bioactives now are being called postbiotics. We're actually giving some postbiotics, but we're encouraging the production of other postbiotics. Does that make sense to you guys? So we get probiotics, prebiotics, phytobiotics. Phytobiotics are an area that Amare has really pioneered. These are specific plant extracts that can either tell the bacteria to do something, or set up the right environment for the bacteria, or have signaling effects across different parts of the gut-brain axis. So some of those phytobiotics, I'll show you a graph on this in a second, or a slide on this in a second. Some of the phytobiotics work in the brain, some of them work in the immune system, some of them work in the gut, some of them, they work in different places. But all of that is built into this mentobiotics product. So we say to people, fundamentals. If they can't do fundamentals, if they can't do the whole pack, this is the one product you would want them to take, right? Because it does so much. And it doesn't, because I'm going to anticipate maybe your question is, will you get the same sort of benefits with just mentobiotics as if you get with the whole fundamentals? We've never done our own clinical trial on just the mentobiotics, but the bacteria that we use have all been studied in human clinical trials. The prebiotics that we're using have all been studied in human clinical trials. So there's a good bet you're going to get a good subset of those overall benefits.
Okay, so a couple questions. One question is that I get asked that by a girl. I was just doing an order with her, and she's like, "Oh, why do I need extra probiotics if I'm buying probiotics?" So that's one question.
That's a great question.
And my second question is this: I feel so good at this. I've never felt like that before because I feel like I meditate twice a day. I've never been so serene. I sleep well. I've never slept that well. I'm so happy for this. But is that I've always had gut issues.
Yeah.
Constipation was my biggest problem. And I've noticed, and when I just started this and I was super skeptical, I was like, man, it's not working, my constipation. Can you talk about that? Those microbes are not for that, right? They don't help.
Yeah, so let me answer the first question. Your friend saying, if I'm already taking a probiotic, why do I have to take this one? Because this is what the probiotic space looks like in most stores, right? People are like, oh, I heard something about probiotics, I'm going to stop at the store, and you stand there on the shelf, and I've watched people do this. They come and they go, and they leave without choosing anything because it's overwhelming, right? And even if you do go and look at those products, does anyone here take a non-Amare probiotic? Can I pick on you? Right smack in the middle? You can't say no now. Can I ask you how you chose it? How did you, you're in front of this shelf, or you're sitting in front of your Amazon screen or something like that, you're trying to pick a probiotic. How did you choose it?
Price was a big factor.
Okay, it was on sale.
Oh.
Yeah.
And also, I asked somebody in the HABA department, and they said, the maximum number was better,
Okay, so
20 as opposed to 10 or something.
that's how a lot of people do it, right? So it'll be like, oh, it was on the end of the aisle and it was on sale, it was buy one, get one free, so I got that one, right? Not a good way to choose your probiotic. Or you ask the guy in the aisle and they're supposed to know better and they say, well, that one has 20 billion and that one has 10 billion. You might as well buy the 20 billion, right? Why? Because more's better, right? For Americans. Or you're looking at 2 different labels and you're like, oh, this one has 3 different ones. This one has 10 different ones. I'll get the 10. 10 must be better, right? None of any of that should go into your decision. Your decision should be based on what kind of benefit you're trying to get. So in our space, it's called strain specificity. One strain of bacteria will do one particular benefit. So leading up to your point, if you have a gut issue, there are strains that can help your gut issues. If you have a mental wellness issue, there are strains that can help your mental wellness issues. If you have an immune system issue, there are ones that can help your immune system. There's ones that can lower your inflammation. There's one, it's not on the market yet. I have some colleagues up at Harvard and MIT have a collaboration going on where they've isolated particular bacteria from elite level athletes, marathon runners. Marathon runners have more of this bacteria in their gut. They're going to try to make a commercial version of it where when it comes onto the market, I'm actually going to be one of the first ones to try it because it will hopefully make me a better marathon runner. Like, honest to God, it should increase my endurance by supplementing with that, right? So that's the idea of strain specificity. So you really have to choose the one that you're looking for. Our product, the Mentobiotics, will have gut regulating benefits, not from the bacteria, but from the prebiotics. Okay, so we do get that sort of an effect.
So what about your probiotics?
So from our probiotic perspective, I'm glad you guys are great to be right in the front row. You just go right to my next slide. The strains that we have in there, we have 3 specific strains that have all been validated in human clinical trials specifically for different mental wellness outcomes.
No, but this is antibiotics. I'm talking about probiotics.
So in our probiotics, so we've got, I think I have a slide for that too. In fact, let me go to, there it is. Did you show them the deck? So we have 5 strains in probiotics, and they all do different things. So it's not just a gut product. When we put that one together, we really wanted to do something that was general wellness. Knowing this idea of strain specificity, could we give you one that helps with your gut regularity? Could we give you one that helps with your immune system, with your mineral absorption, with your et cetera, et cetera? So that's why you see we list out the strain name. So on these bacteria, you'll see it says, let me use the one at the bottom left real quick. Lactobacillus acidophilus. You'll see that on almost every probiotic supplement out there. But that's all it will say. It'll say Lactobacillus acidophilus. That tells you nothing about what it does. You need to know what the strain is, and that particular strain is called LA14. That strain helps with the environment of your gut. It helps set up the right pH. The pH is sort of like the atmosphere of your gut. That enables the good bacteria to grow preferentially and the bad bacteria to die off, right? So that LA14 does that, but it doesn't do the mental wellness piece. So if you wanted one for your gut and for general wellness, you'd choose this product. If you wanted one for mental wellness, which is the tip of our spear, you would use these strains, okay? Lactobacillus rhamnosus R0011 is our anti-stress bacteria. Bifidobacterium longum 175 is our anti-anxiety strain.
So it's all about the letters and the numbers at the end, right?
That's right.
Because those names are in every single bottle when you buy.
Right, but go look at those products at Whole Foods or anywhere, and you will rarely, maybe 10% of the time, you'll see numbers and letters afterwards. Because most companies haven't even caught on to this, that you need to give the right strains to deliver specific benefit. People will eventually get there. We're absolutely on the cutting edge of that, but I think other people are going to follow us. Yeah.
I'm thinking our world is full of bacteria.
Yes.
And some of it is like good, and some of it is not good. So now, if we develop the right environment, to how many percent of that is it going to make it to the gut with acid from the stomach? I mean, is it likely that we can just create the environment and that would be enough to trap all the good bacteria and let it thrive?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, so some people would say, let's not even give bacteria. Why don't we just give the right foods to change the environment of that gut so that the good guys grow? That's a legitimate approach. We take both approaches simultaneously to say, look, we can give you the bacteria and have a certain amount of an effect, but we don't stop there. Like we could have, if we wanted to, done this blend in a tiny little capsule and given you that, right? This is 3 billion bacteria would fit in a teensy capsule. It'd be really, really easy to take. But we don't stop there. We also know that prebiotics can do what you just described, feed the bacteria, do the right environment. We know that phytobiotics can do different things, et cetera. So we want to give as comprehensive a mental wellness benefit for people as possible versus, let me take it the other way. Here we're giving you 3. Why are we giving you 3? Why wouldn't we just give you that first one, Lactobacillus rhamnosus 11, right? You're going to feel better if you take that. but you're only going to feel better in that way. You're going to feel better because your cortisol is down, your body's primary stress hormone, and you're going to feel better because your GABA is higher when you need it, your body's primary relaxing neurotransmitter, right? So you're going to be calmer in the face of stress. That's awesome. But what if that isn't the thing that you're struggling with? What if you have anxiety? You're not going to get that benefit. What if you have depression? You're not going to get that benefit. So we give you all three of these to give you that comprehensive benefit. And then we go another layer to give you the prebiotics to help those bacteria, those probiotics, do their job better, but also to feed other parts of your microbiome that we're not specifically supplementing. So we use 3 different ones for the same kind of an idea. Strain specificity of probiotic bacteria, the same principle applies with the structure of the fiber. So when you see isofiber, biamino, sunfiber, those are the brand names, but in parentheses you see these other words, isomalto-oligosaccharide, galacto-oligosaccharide, galactomannan. Those all refer to the structure, and the structure tells me what bacteria it's going to feed. So different bacteria thrive on different fibers. So we give you ones that have been clinically validated. If you give people biamino, their stress goes down, their stress resilience goes up. Same thing happens for sunfiber. Sunfiber is also a regulatory, or not regulatory, regulating fiber. So it's going to help you. If you're more on the diarrhea side, it's going to help that. If you're more on the constipation side, it's going to help that, right? Regulating fiber helps your gut do what it's supposed to do in terms of motility. We match those up too. One of the coming trends that you're going to see in this space is companies are going to start talking about symbiotics, synergistic combinations of probiotic bacteria and prebiotic fibers. And what you generally see with those products is that they'll just go, all right, here's a probiotic, all right, here's any old fiber. We're going to smash them together and hope that they're going to work well together. That doesn't always happen. We go to great lengths to make sure that the bacteria we're giving are perfectly aligned with the fibers that we're giving. So you really do see that synergistic benefit. And then this area I mentioned real briefly about phytobiotics. You can see this blend of 3, apple polyphenols, grape polyphenols, pine bark polyphenols, have signaling effects across the whole gut-brain axis. So if our objective isn't just microbiome, right? Microbiome is a means to an end. The end being you will feel better, will improve your mental wellness. These are working across the entire gut-brain axis. Some in the brain, some in the axis, some in the gut, some in the gut lining, some in the microbiome, et cetera, et cetera. So this is something we filed patents around the globe to protect this idea. So the next question becomes, we can show people those kind of data, and we can tell them what the different ingredients you're going to do. And then, the next question isn't so much like, how are you doing it? It's, okay, I'm in, when am I going to feel better, right? How quickly is this going to work? And so I will never forget this. We didn't even have labels yet. We just had prototype products of our initial line. And we were bringing people into the office to sort of check it out and see what we're all about, and we hadn't even launched yet. And somebody mixed up an antibiotics, and it's an unflavored powder, right? So nobody mixes it up in water and goes, ooh, delicious, right? Is that anyone? No one, okay. It is what it is, right? So we tell people put it in juice, put it in tea, whatever, to mix it with your superfood so it tastes a little bit better. Guy mixes it up, drinks it down, and about an hour later, we're going through the presentation and everything, and he goes, I think I'm feeling it. And we're like, well, what are you feeling? Well, I'm feeling calmer, I'm feeling more focused, and my microbiome is popping, he says. And I was like, no, sir, your microbiome is not popping. That's not what it's doing. But he was legitimately feeling something, right? It wasn't a placebo response. It wasn't a microbiome thing. It was this. So this is one aspect of how a lot of our products are built with this concept called phased benefits. You'll feel somewhat better quickly. You'll feel more better medium term, like a week. You'll feel more better a little bit longer, 2 or 3 weeks. You'll feel more better a month, 2 months, etc. So different aspects of mental wellness exert themselves or manifest themselves on different time periods. So if we were only doing a microbiome anti-depression effect, that takes 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks to exert itself in somebody. If somebody feels not great, I don't want them to wait a month or two to feel better. If I can deliver this by giving you an amino acid from green tea, we use a brand called suntheanine. This amino acid will go right to your brain, change your brain from beta waves, which are associated with anxiety and tension. Within an hour, you can see the time course here, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 75 minutes, shift you to alpha waves within about an hour so you feel relaxed alertness. So you're going from tension to relaxed alertness, non-drowsy, focus, in the zone is what, if I were using the brain scans over there for athletes, I would say, look, we're taking people into the zone so they're able to perform better mentally and physically, right? That happens really quickly. And if somebody experiences that in an hour, they're going to mix it up tomorrow, they're going to mix it up the next day, and they're going to mix it up the next day, and eventually those phytobiotics are going to have brain fog lifting benefits after 5 to 7 days. Your memory is going to get better. Then the microbiome, the prebiotics, the probiotics, are going to have their effect at 3 weeks and 4 weeks and 6 weeks and etc. So you get why we do it that way. So we have that kind of a principle built into Relief, into Mood Plus, into a whole bunch of products back there, right? From the perspective of let's help people feel somewhat better quickly, and then they'll move along. So that's antibiotics. So are there any questions about that one? Yeah, Nancy.
What if they are on antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds? Because are their results going to be a little bit different or longer?
Yeah, so because there's so many people on those kinds of drugs, right? This is something that we tell people. Don't think that the natural product is going to be a one-to-one switch for whatever medication regimen that you're on, right? We wouldn't want people to go, I'm going cold turkey on my Xanax today, and I'm going to take this powder instead, right? You'll be in the emergency room probably if you do that kind of thing. But rather,
if they're on it, then I have to start them on it.
Yeah, have them stay on whatever their drug regimen is and add the natural ingredients in. We know from our ingredient profiles there's no interactions, there's no interferences with the line of ingredients that we have right now, right? So that's a good place. But as they start to feel better, as their relaxed alertness starts to come in, as their brain fog starts to lift, as they start to feel more resilient, then it might be a good opportunity for them to change what that drug regimen is.
Well, to clarify, my question is, does it take longer? Because I've had people that are on, I would never recommend them getting off.
Yeah.
So it's just taking a little bit longer, seems like, to have an effect.
We're-
Is that normal, or is it?
It's not that it's having trouble having an effect. They might be having trouble perceiving the effect. Because remember the sort of like suppression of any feelings that those drugs can have a lot of times. So that's why I will say to people, get it in your system for a couple of weeks. Let's see if it starts working. You'll notice feeling different in a way than that drug makes you, and that's the opportunity for you to work with your doctor to say, let's see if we can wean down, and then you're able to perceive those benefits at a much higher level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a question about if you stop doing the fiber, will the environment will change, the bacteria won't have an environment to, I guess, thrive in? Is that what will happen?
In a way, people ask a similar question by saying like, all right, let's say I start on this and I'm eating a standard American diet, right? I'm eating Big Macs and French fries and Coca-Colas all the time, right? Is it still going to work?
Right.
And I'll say, yeah, it'll still work. But if you had a better overall diet, lifestyle situation going on, you're eating more fiber, you're eating more healthy fats, you're eating less sugar and less processed, yeah, there's going to be more good raw materials for that microbiome to do its thing, right? So does that answer your question, or?
Is the fiber like a big deal in that process?
The fiber is a big deal, but each of those things that we have in mentobiotics is a big deal in and of itself. So we know, like, that mentobiotics could have been 3 or 4 separate products, and we could have marketed them as 3 or 4 separate products. We had those discussions at the very beginning with sales and marketing. We could deliver this, we could deliver that, we could deliver that, or we could deliver it all under one umbrella. We actually tried to make all of these 3 products one product. Blah. That was terrible. Terrible. You get some of the ingredients in Mentafocus didn't work well in a powder. Some of the ingredients in Mentasync just stink, and you can't put them in a powder. Mentastink, people call it. Yeah. Does anyone know what that smell is coming from? So when you open up a bottle of Mentasync, it smells. What does it smell like? Not good. Yeah. It smells like, next time you do it, it'll smell a little bit like cheese. And the reason cheese smells like cheese is because it's giving off these short-chain fatty acids called butyrates. We have butyrates in that product, right? They're these postbiotics that
People addicted to cheese.
do all these wonderful things. People can get addicted to cheese for a different reason, for the casein. I'm not going to get into that. So we can deliver all that with antibiotics. Then it's not just the gut. Remember, the gut might be the first thing we focus on, but we want to focus on the whole gut-brain axis. So let's do something for the brain. The Mentafocus targets directly the brain. Here's 2 ways that it does it. One of the ingredients that we use is a specific pomegranate extract called PomX. This one will activate areas of the brain involved in doing work. So things like memory, things like being creative, things like being mentally focused and engaged and things like that. Awesome. But you can get that kind of an effect with caffeine, right? So why would we just put in a big dose of caffeine in here, right? You would make that face, right? Why do you think we do that? We could get somebody to focus better if we gave them a caffeine pill, but we're doing it with this pomegranate because we want them to focus, but we also want them to do it in a calm way. And one of the unique things about this pomegranate extract is that it has bioactives. I keep pointing like this, and I think I have a laser pointer, but I don't. What you can see on the top brain graph is that the brain is lighting up more in areas on the sides where the brain is involved in doing work, and it's lighting up in the middle in areas of the brain that are involved in relaxation. And those would seem like opposite effects to most people. That, again, if you're waking the brain up and you're relaxing it at the same time, those sound like they would be counteractive or antagonistic to each other. And they're not, because they happen in different parts of the brain. So by doing that, we can get the brain to be active, but also be calm and collected at the same time. It's a similar idea to that relaxed alertness that you saw with the theanine, but it's coming through different mechanisms, specifically in the brain. Okay, so that's one way they can do it. We also use this very specific pine bark extract that we source from New Zealand. In New Zealand, this actual stuff called enzogenol is used as first-line natural ADHD therapy, right? It helps your brain work faster. It helps you recall memories more quickly. It helps your brain do what it's supposed to do at a more efficient level. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. I could talk for hours about enzogenol. And then Mentasync, right? It has butyrates, it has ingredients that help your gut lining, it has ingredients like beta-glucans and alpha-glucans that help your immune system be a better signaling organ in your body. That's that idea of getting the access to talk to the brains better. So Mentasync is a product that does that. And so that can also get way into the weeds. So I won't talk too much about that. Are there any questions about the fundamentals pack before I move on? Yes? Yeah, that's a great question. So the fundamentals is recommended for adults, right? 18 and over. But when we launched this in 2018, we had lots and lots of parents saying, hey, wait a minute, my kids need that, and they're not 18, can I give it to my kids? And so we would give them the recommendation that this is dosed for an adult metabolism. So 1 scoop of Mentabiotics, 2 capsules of Mentafocus, 2 capsules of Mentasync, that's an adult dose. If parents want to try that with their kids, we were recommending go half. 1 capsule, half a scoop. But then we launched a kids line that has every single thing that I just talked about in terms of the strains of bacteria, the types of fiber, the phytonutrients, all that kind of stuff in 1 product for kids. So our kids fundamentals is 1 product that looks like it's in the same kind of canister as Mentabiotics is, and it's naturally sweetened, and it's naturally flavored, and it tastes like fruit punch, and it's 1 product. But we didn't have to do 3 products for kids. We were able to get all of that into 1 because of the different dosing levels that we need for children. Okay? And then to heart. So one of our core values is innovation. So we're always trying to sort of stay on that cutting edge, right? So when we launched in 2018, there was nobody even thinking about doing a coordinated, comprehensive, holistic gut-brain axis system. So that's one of the reasons we won the Nutritional Award. But we know people are going to be close behind us, right? Because we're seeing so much success out there. So in September, we launched another layer of this whole story. Understanding how the gut-brain axis works, we were looking for other ways to improve mental wellness. And the way we decided to go is by introducing another brain, right? So brain in your head is your first brain in your gut is your second brain in your heart is your third brain. And the heart, we've known for a long time. I don't know if I have this slide. No. We've known for a long time that the heart and the brain talk to each other, right? Think about our vocabulary. We've known for a long time about the gut brain. You know, you feel sick to your stomach. People say trust your gut. You say that you have a gut feeling about something, right? So we've known since forever there was some sort of a crosstalk between those two tissues. Same thing applies for the heart, right? We talk about follow your heart. We talk about, you know, being heartbroken or being heart sick, or I mean, you can come up with your own vocabulary on that kind of stuff. We've also known since about the 50s that people who are depressed have much higher risk for having a heart attack and heart problems in general. And we know that people who have a heart attack have a much higher risk of developing depression. And people have looked at that and been like, well, yeah, of course it makes sense. You just had a heart attack, you're in the hospital, you're eating hospital food, of course you're going to be depressed, right? Who would not be depressed in that situation? But it's a lot more than that. And for a number of years, even scientists like myself thought it was just inflammation, right? People who are depressed have more brain inflammation. That leads to their depression. Maybe that inflammation is going throughout the rest of their body and it's causing problems in the heart, and problems in the joints, and we see that kind of thing, and vice versa. But now what we realize is that it's not just signaling molecules like inflammatory compounds, and it's not just changes in neurotransmitters. Like your heart, for example, can make a neurotransmitter called oxytocin. Does anyone know what that one does? What?
It's happy. It's like when you pet a dog and oxytocin.
Yes.
Is that the right word?
Yes, that's right. That's right. It's the hormone of bonding, right? So oxytocin is like a hormone neurotransmitter kind of. It also induces labor. Well, it induces labor, but the reason it comes before labor is why. So mom wants to cuddle that baby. It's the cuddle hormone, right? You get a surge of oxytocin after having sex, right? So your heart can make oxytocin. That isn't the primary way that your heart talks to your brain. Your heart has these things called heart rhythms that are electrical in nature. That electricity will go to your brain, and if it's in coherence, if it's in balance or resonance with your brain waves, the electrical activity of your brain, you'll feel good. If it's out of coherence, if you're getting sort of staticky signals coming from your heart, that's going to lead to staticky signals in your brain waves, and you're going to feel terrible. You might feel irritable, you might feel depressed, you might feel fatigued. Those are the sort of three big ones that we can measure. And so we had the idea of, people have asked us like, hey, you guys don't have a cardiovascular product, right? You have some anti-inflammatory products, but you don't have anything for cardiovascular benefits. And that's a big category out there in the nutrition space. So we started putting together some ingredients, and like we studied them separately. What does this ingredient do? So we looked at an ingredient called astaxanthin, which is known to help the heart work better and help with sports performance, and it's an antioxidant, and a whole bunch of different things. We looked at an ingredient called palm fruit bioactives. It does the anti-inflammatory piece, and et cetera, et cetera. So we're looking at these ingredients separately, and when we started combining them, we found not just cholesterols were going down, not just that oxidation and inflammation were going down, but we saw we had a much better heart efficiency. So we're able to measure things like heart rate variability, which is not just measuring your heartbeats, it's measuring the space in between each heartbeat. And when that number goes up, it tells us that your heart is more efficient, that your heart is under less stress. We use it in athletes all the time to see if those athletes are recovering from their workouts, from the stress of their training. And so we saw heart rate variability was improving. We said, awesome! The heart's working better. The heart is a more efficient pump. And what we also found out, people felt better. Their depression was down, their fatigue was down, their vigor was down, and we went, I think we just found another way to improve mental wellness, and that's exactly what we found. We were able to, for the very first time, show that a nutritional product can improve heart efficiency, and as a result of that, improve mental wellness. So that gave us the idea to bring in this whole idea of the heart-brain axis from a nutritional standpoint, which synergizes perfectly with what we were doing with the fundamentals pack in the first place. So now you can do gut, heart, brain axis all in one and feel better at that expanded level. So I talked about this phased benefit idea. We have that built into all of our products. We have it built into, I mean, even just Mentobiotics, I said is a good choice if somebody wants to just start with one thing. If you want to do better, you can go to the full fundamentals pack, or what we call now with the 4 products with Mental Heart, we call Fundamentals Pack Plus. So you're getting 4 products for all the different brains. Or you can do this Project B3, which is fundamentals, plus our multivitamin Vita GBX, plus our whole line of products called GBX Foods, which are functional foods, proteins and fruit and vegetable extracts and targeted fibers and things like that that also help to improve not just microbiome modulation, but full gut-brain axis signaling. And that's the one, the clinical trial that we did on that, we've presented now at the International Society for Nutritional Psychiatry Research in November. Wonderfully, wonderfully received because so at that conference there were people from all over the world showing, hey, here's this thing you can do in the microbiome to reduce depression. Here's this thing you can do with B vitamins to reduce anxiety. Here's this other thing you can do with fibers to, so all this sort of isolated work in Australia or in Europe or in South America or wherever. And here I am, the lone industry guy at this conference, to be able to say, yeah, here's our Project B3, and this is what's in it. It's your B vitamins, and it's your fiber, and it's your probiotics, and it's through the whole thing. And here we just give it to people, and they feel better. And so these are mostly academics who are like, oh my gosh, that's my research that's in your product, and it's actually helping people. Hooray! Because they don't get to see that kind of stuff. They get to do the research, but it never gets out to those people who can make usage of it. And that's, people I think are very enthusiastic about what we're trying to do here at Amare because of that. So that's just the fundamental stuff, right? We have all these other products. So I'm not going to spend much time going through them, but you can look at the fundamentals, the first sort of box of stuff. We also have a whole line of products called, it's not up there, called Mentotherapeutics. Mentotherapeutics are very targeted herbal therapies that do just what they're named. So we have a product called Relief that helps with pain, physical pain. How does that fit at a mental wellness company? A physical pain product. It works as quickly as aspirin or Tylenol or ibuprofen to get rid of your pain. How does that impact on your mental wellness? Pain and depression are the same thing, actually. Yeah, they're not just linked. They're the same biochemical cascade. One is inflammation that's manifested physically, that's your pain. One is manifested psychologically, that's your depression, right? So if we can reduce inflammation, if we can reduce pain, we can help somebody feel better. So in that product, in Relief, it works quickly because of the specific turmeric that we use. Very, very highly bioavailable turmeric. It's absorbed about 30 times better than the average stuff on the market. But then we also combine it with a boswellia that has the same 30x absorption. But that boswellia won't get rid of your pain right now. It'll keep your pain from coming back 4 hours later because it slows the production of the next round of inflammatory products. Do you have a question?
Yeah, my boyfriend just injured himself, and I gave him the whole pack, like, take it.
Yeah.
And I saw that 12, that's the maximum dose. So he should actually take 12? Or?
Well, 12 is the maximum dose because if you take 13, it's not going to work any better. That's why we have it's not going to be unsafe for him to do that. But if you're trying to control your inflammation with 12 Relief, what I'd rather have you do is back off your Relief and come at inflammation from a different perspective. So one of my recommendations that I'll do is say, take Relief during the day as much as you need it, but then take Omega, which is one of our other products in our essential line, at night. And now you're coming at inflammation from 2 perspectives simultaneously, and sometimes that'll be the thing to get you into that place where you start to heal better.
So how many a day of Relief?
After
He was really injured and actually he has an inflamed leg.
Yeah, I would go six relief through the day, like 2-2-2, and then I would do 4 omegas before I went to bed at night. That's what I would do for that situation. Okay, but everyone's going to be a little bit different. Our products are specifically made to be what we call flexible usage. So for some people, 2 of our sleep might be too much, and they only use 1. Some people, 2 of our sleep is not enough; they use 3. Right? That's sort of an individual difference. Speaking of sleep, how many people in here ever tried melatonin before? Lots of people. Did it work? Can anyone say if it worked for you or not? No. So no. Anyone yes? It worked for you? Melatonin worked for you? Melatonin works for about half the people who take it. And if it works for you, fantastic. But you shouldn't take it every single day. This product, because why? Because it's a hormone. You start taking it every single night to go to bed, your body's going to stop producing that hormone, and now you're going to have to take it. You're going to be locked into it, otherwise you can't sleep. So this product instead, we use an ingredient called corn grass extract. We have a worldwide exclusive on it. Nobody else has access to this except for us. It doesn't have melatonin, but it has a building block in it that your body will use to make serotonin, which is the neurotransmitter that helps to be happy, and then that can be converted to melatonin in the dark, which will help us get into better stages of sleep. So that one product will help you sleep better from the perspective of improving your sleep quality by about 40%. That means you spend more time in deep sleep, where your body recovers, and more time in REM sleep, where your brain recovers. Okay, so a very, very different take on the whole sleep category. And sleep is important for your mental wellness for lots and lots of reasons. We have a product called Mood Plus. Pat held it up and said we could have started the company just on this. Mood Plus last year was a finalist for Botanical of the Year across the entire industry because it does so much in one product. It helps with depression, helps with anxiety, it helps with stress, and it very uniquely improves stress resilience in the same product. A lot of times you'll see us, before we come up on stage, we're scurrying around in the back there looking for a couple of moods to take before we come up here because it has phase benefits. It has an acute anti-stress, anti-anxiety effect, but then the other benefits, like a stress resilience, isn't going to come for 2 or 3 weeks. That's the ability to sort of step into stress and say, let's do this, versus having to step away and say, I can't deal with this right now, right? That's the difference between high and low stress resilience. But the anti-depression piece, that won't come for 4 to 6 weeks, just because of the way that it works biochemically in the body. And if you look at the graphs, I don't have the scientific graphs for the different ingredients, but the Zembrin that we use and the Venetron that we use, we're seeing reductions in depression indexes at 4 weeks of 30% and at 8 weeks of 50%, right? With just taking 2 little capsules every day for that period of time. That's the magnitude effect that you would expect with one of the very potent antidepressant drugs out there, and you're doing it from a natural perspective, okay? What else is in there that Energy Plus. This is our take on a healthy energy drink, right? It's a way for us to not just deliver the physical energy that most people want when they look at a Rockstar or a Monster or a Red Bull or one of those terrible things that's out there, but it's not usually physical energy that most people are looking for. It's what? Mental energy, right? When you get that 3 o'clock dip in energy levels, it's more of a mental energy deficit, and so we can improve that in a really important way. But we don't just do mental energy, physical energy. We also give this other third tier of energy that we refer to as mental awareness, and we do it through an herb that's called guayusa. It comes from South America, Ecuador sort of area, and the villagers there will use it almost like, it looks like they're chewing tobacco when they use it, because they'll roll up the leaf and they'll put it in their tongue and they'll kind of suck on it when they go out at night hunting. And it keeps them awake, it keeps them alert, but they would say it improves their connection with the universe, right? Which is, we would look at that and go, oh, they're more aware of their surroundings. They're more engaged with what's happening around them. And that's good if, like, crocodile's going to sneak up on you or something like that, right? So, like, that's a really different way of thinking about energy. How many people have tried energy in here before? Yeah, so it doesn't give you that, like, jittery that you get with, a Starbucks or a Red Bull or something like that. I like to say to people, it's kind of like drinking a yoga class, right? Because you're like, you feel good and you feel engaged So that's what energy does. That's our Menta Therapeutics line. Our Menta Essentials line is just baseline foundational nutrition, but at optimal bioavailable levels. So if there's one thing we knew about the mental wellness category scientifically, prior to all this microbiome gut-brain axis stuff that has been coming out scientifically the last couple of years, is that if people were deficient in your B vitamins, your antioxidants, your amino acids, your digestive enzymes, your omega-3 fatty acids, any of that kind of stuff, there's a good body of evidence to show that suboptimal intake of any of those is going to lead to more mental wellness issues, right? So that's been a known thing. And so we wanted to make sure we had a line of products that gave you those nutrients at the optimal levels in a way that's not just absorbed, but is truly bioavailable, meaning you can absorb it. So absorption meaning you can digest it, and it can get into the gut, and you can get it from the gut into the systemic circulation, into your bloodstream. But then you have to make sure that that nutrient is going to be handled by the body the right way, right? Sometimes, like you can get synthetic vitamin E is a wonderful example. We can get wonderful absorption of synthetic vitamin E. Does anyone know where synthetic vitamin E comes from? What's the raw material to make that stuff? Petroleum, right? It's petroleum. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Petroleum byproduct is what synthetic vitamin E is. And your body will look at that, your liver, your kidneys will look at that and go, something is not right about that stuff. So you've absorbed it, and now your body does whatever it can to filter it out and get rid of it. Natural vitamin E, though, structurally just a little bit different. Your body looks at it and goes, yeah, we're going to keep that on board. We're not going to filter that out. We're going to deliver that to your brain and your eyes and your et cetera, so you get a much better effect of that nutrient if it's in the right form. So we go through our essentials line, ingredient by ingredient by ingredient. I talked to somebody at the back here during the break, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you use this form of vitamin B. Nobody uses that. I'm like, well, it's better, right? She's like, yeah, it's way better, but no one uses it. We use it because we want to get an end effect, right? So we do that ingredient by ingredient throughout the entire line. We have a whole line of products called GBX foods. These are our functional foods, so a protein, a greens, and a fiber product, but very, very targeted to deliver mental wellness benefits, right? So these are going to do everything you want food to do, but the protein is also going to nourish your microbiome. In fact, we were the first ones to use this, and it's not used very much yet by any other companies. A type of chickpea protein called Artesa. So it's good amino acid profile, it's processed in a way that tastes good. One of the problems with a lot of these plant proteins is that they're kind of, you're making a face already, and I haven't even said it. I said plant protein, she made one of these faces. They're gritty, right? Because of the way they're processed. The particle size is not what your body wants, so it tastes like sand in your mouth. The way that this is processed, the particle size are all small, uniform particles, and it tastes creamy in your mouth. So that's awesome. It tastes good, but it also has these compounds called oligosaccharides, which nourish your microbiome. So here we have a protein that helps with your appetite, it helps with your fat burning, it helps with your muscle building, and all the things you want a protein to do, but it also nourishes your microbiome. We have a product called Superfood, which is giving you 3 servings of fruits and vegetables in every serving, but it's also giving you ingredients to lower your stress levels and improve your stress resilience. So we have an ingredient in there called ETAS, enzyme-treated asparagus extract. It's Japanese asparagus that helps your body do a process called autophagy. Has anyone ever heard of that before? How else can we stimulate autophagy? Fasting, intermittent fasting, which is all the rage these days. What if you could just put it into a glass and stir it around and get some autophagy? What autophagy is doing is it's getting your cells to do internal cellular cleanup. It's like bringing in the housekeeping service to make sure that your cells are working at a high optimal efficiency, right? And when you do that in every single cell, times 10 trillion cells in your body, you feel that. You feel a resilience. Superfood. Then in seed fiber, we give you all these seed fibers, and we give you specific prebiotic fibers that are targeted to nourish your microbiome and improve your gut integrity. But we also give you an ingredient called AHCC, which is a mushroom. It's not a mushroom extract. It's the extract of the mycelium, which is like the underground part of the mushroom. we give you an extract of that that tells your brain to sort of calm the anxiety centers, right? So now you've got a protein that nourishes the microbiome, you've got a fruit and vegetable extract that takes care of your stress and improves your stress resilience, and you've got a fiber product that helps with your anxiety. So you see where everything that we do comes back to mental wellness in some way. We do that for kids. All the essential nutrients that we talked about in the Essentials line in our VitaGBX product is in a kid's version. All of the strains of bacteria and targeted fibers and phytobiotics that we have in our adult fundamentals is in a kid's version of fundamentals. And then we have a product in the middle there that's called Kids Mood Plus.
Woo!
So, woo! So,
Thank you, Dr. Shawn.
now can I pick on you? Because you were instrumental in getting this product to market. So, people have been asking us a lot, could you do a kid's version of your Mood Plus product, right? The one with botanical, finals for botanical of the year. And we looked at the formulation of that and we went, no, we can't. None of those herbs have ever been studied in children before. They have wonderful data in adults. I mean, amazing data in adults, like I try to get across to you guys. Never been studied in kids, and we didn't feel comfortable being the first ones to use your kids as guinea pigs, right? So we went back to the drawing board and like, okay, what other ingredients can we use that have a really good safety profile that any mom or dad could feel comfortable giving to their children? And so we found one that is really the anchor. There's 5 different bioactive ingredients in there. They're all spices. They're all culinary spices that have been used in the food supply for eons. But the one that we focused on was a unique saffron extract that we sourced out of Spain. Most saffron in the world comes from kind of like the Middle East, Iran, Afghanistan, Turkey, those kinds of places. And because anyone ever tried to buy saffron to make some paella or something like that? It's expensive, right? And you get this tiny little bit, and when you take it out of the little jar, you don't want the wind to blow because you say, hey, this cost me $17, you know? So it's really expensive, so it's very often adulterated. Meaning, somebody puts something in it that's not saffron, and so you have problems with your supply chain. We were able to source it from this farm just south of Madrid. And that particular one had already been studied in teenagers to show that it's equivalent to the effect that you would get from Prozac for depression. We're like, oh, good set of data. And then we also had some studies that showed that in children, it was equivalent to the ADHD effect that you would get with Ritalin. So we had something, a spice, that was equivalent to Prozac for depression, equivalent to Ritalin for focus. And we went, okay, we can start with that, but let's not have it be just that. Let's put some other supporting ingredients in there so we get an overall better effect. And I don't have the data here to show you. We're going to present it at the Experimental Biology Conference in April. But what we found was we had a little pilot trial of 10 kids. Every single kid got a benefit on their focus and their mood and their resilience and all that kind of stuff. And then we had another set of data that's to see if those benefits carried over when the kids were under stress, like stress of schoolwork and stress of sports situations and stress of social situations and things like that. And we saw that kind of stuff too in the data, right? So we're really good. But I want to go back here to Jess. Jess Royce is one of our wellness partners. She's a holistic nutritionist. And you try with both your boys, one of your boys?
Both of them.
Both of them. Okay, so tell people here. I'll come over there so we can hear you.
Oh, I hate your mic.
Hi, everybody. So yeah, I have a 5-year-old and 8-year-old boy, and with Ryan, my oldest son, he's amazing, but when he sits down to do work, he's like, butterfly. Like, everything distracted him. And what I found was that when I gave it to him about a half hour later, where he would sit down to do homework or something, he was very focused, and he could get the task at hand done, and then carry on to whatever else we were doing. For these guys, I know my youngest son, Jake. That, again, amazing kid, very hyper, and used to get very easily frustrated. So he would kind of like, if something didn't go his way, he'd be like, ugh! So I was like, when Dr. Shawn sent us the kids movie, I was like, you first. And that's what we noticed over that 30 days, was that wasn't happening as much. He could better dial in what was happening with the stress around him. And we thank you. I love you.
that's great, right? We have good data. We're going to present that at a conference. We have people who can share that kind of story with their own kids. But then the real proof of that product came about a month ago when it went out of stock for 3 weeks. And my phone was blowing up mostly from moms around the country saying, when's it going to be in stock? You know, hey, because I have your cell phone numbers, from the secret stash, you know. My wife literally ran a box. We had 2 boxes in our house because my 18-year-old son takes it. And she ran a box down the street to one of her friends who was a wellness partner because she was at her wit's end. She just needed some more. But that was the proof of it, that people saw it working, but then they saw it not working when it wasn't there. And so now it's back in stock, so we're very happy about that. So that's our kids line. And we do that for the kids because, let's face it, kids these days have as much stress, more stress probably, than any of us had when we were their age. We didn't have cell phones and Facebook and Insta, whatever, the TikTok things and all those kind of things that are happening right now. So like they need resilience and they need good nutrition as much as anybody does. So, and then I talked about Project B3 already. One of the things that our marketing team does that I'm so thankful for is they think of ways to put our products together in packs that save people money. Because one of the things we feel really strongly about, Pat might talk about this when he gets up here, we want people to use the products. We want to make it as easy as possible for people to use as many products as possible so that they can get all those different benefits. And try this product and see if it's the right one for your regimen. And if it's not, try this other product and see what's one for your regimen. We do all kinds of things to give product points to people so they can use more products, so they can get the benefits of products, because the more we can help people move up that mental wellness continuum, the better off they're going to be, the better off their social circle is going to be, the better off their family's going to be, the better, and this might sound grandiose when you say it this way, but the better off all of our communities are going to be, right? That pro-social ripple effect that goes out from that. I mean, think of how many people have these issues and how many people we can help and how many people they can help, and so on and so on and so on. So, anyway, I've talked for too long. Thank you very much for being here.